Hello, friends. Thanks for watching again. This week's yoga practice will focus on our backs, opening up our shoulders on the frontal plane and the back plane. And we will also be working on our hips. My favorite, we'll always have some hips in there, or at least most of the time. And as well as giving a little space to the lower back as well. This will be pretty relaxing. There's not too many standing postures. We'll take our time as we move through this, with, of course, breathing being a major piece of it. So don't forget to breathe while we do this, and I'll make sure to remind you. With that, let's shut up and flow and move into our child's pose. So opening your hips or your knees wide, hips to heels, lengthening your arms long on the mat, resting your forehead to the mat, and settling in to your practice. Letting go of anything you were thinking of before you stepped on the mat, and putting aside things that you have to do after. Noticing the walls around you, the ceiling above you, and the ground beneath you. Feeling as the air expands your lungs and your rib cage and shrinks back as you let it all out. Let's take 3 deep breaths together, inhaling through the nose and exhaling a sigh out the mouth. Inhale through the nose, letting it go out the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. One more time, inhaling through the nose and letting it all out in a sigh. Sealing your lips, beginning to focus on your breath in and out through the nose. If it's in your practice, maybe establishing your ujjayi breath, which feels like you are fogging up a mirror on your exhales with your mouth closed. That's that constriction in the throat. From here, staying in child's pose, let's slowly walk our hands over to the left side of the mat, placing our right hand on top of the left and stretching that right side body. Again, slowly moving into our practice this morning, taking our time to wake up the body. Or maybe you're slowing down your day and doing your practice at night. Whenever it is that you're taking this time for yourself, just relaxing into each posture. Take one more breath here. And taking your right hand off the top of the left and slowly walking your hands over to the other side of your mat, your right side, and then placing your left hand on top of your right, stretching that left side, feeling your ribs expand as you inhale and come back together as you exhale. Feeling as your breath changes little things in your body, sending the breath to the spaces you feel need it most. One more breath. And slowly walking your hands back to center. Let's do a little thread the needle. So dragging your right hand down towards your right knee, weaving it underneath your left arm and laying gently on your right shoulder. side of your head to the mat and breathing. It's starting to get a little intense. You can come up out of bringing your hips away from your heels. Maybe just take a quick break or settle back in, or just stay, feeling all the sensations your body is telling you. One more breath here. And weaving that hand back out from underneath, placing that right hand to meet your left, and then bringing your left hand down towards your left knee, threading it underneath your right arm and laying on your left shoulder, top of your head towards the mat. Remembering to breathe. Noticing if this side feels any different than the other. If not, it's totally okay. Taking one more breath. And bringing that arm out from underneath, having that left hand come towards your right and slowly pushing yourself up to a tabletop position. Maybe just stretching out your hips a little bit, bringing in some small movements, maybe get a couple cracks like me. And let's find our way into tabletop. Settling here, warming up the spine with cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly, looking up. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Push that ground away and really open up those shoulder blades. Push, push, push. Inhale, drop the belly, looking up. Exhale, round the spine. Push the ground away. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, round the spine, cat pose. Take 3 more at your own pace, using your breath as a guide, making any minor adjustments you feel you need. Last one. And coming back to neutral spine, let's just take some like wave rolls, spinal rolls, I guess we'll call them. And this time you're just going to drop your belly to the right, weave it over to the left, and then round the spine on the left, moving it over to the right. So you're making these barrel rolls, that's what they're called, or what I like to call them. Just working in a wave-like motion, feeling your shoulders move through it, and your hips, of course, your spine. And switching directions, so dropping to the left side, coming through center, arching on the right, moving through this. Let's take one more roll. Awesome. Coming back to neutral spine. Let's stretch out the back a little more, coming into puppy pose. Slowly walk your hands down and arms down on the mat, keeping your hips high over your knees and feeling your back and your shoulders opening up, your upper back, resting your forehead on the mat and breathing into these spaces, allowing your body to open up. Sometimes when we move into positions that really accentuate which areas of our body are tight, we seem to tense. So try to relax all your muscles and let your natural body weight open up the stretch. Let's take one more breath. From here, slowly lift your head, leaving your arms where they are. Just gently pull your chest forward until you come onto your belly. Maybe scoot your hips back a little bit so you're fully on your mat. We're going to move into Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath your shoulders, hands placed firmly on the mat, lifting through the crown of your head, opening up your shoulders, and with your hands placed firmly on the mat, pulling your hands towards your elbows, really opening up that back. Maybe gazing a little bit up. We don't want to kink our neck. Just keeping it nice and aligned with your spine. Shifting our gaze only. Pulling, pulling. One more breath. And release any tension. Maybe wiggle the shoulders a little bit. Leaving your hands where they are. We're going to come into seal pose. So firmly pressing your hands in. Push those upper arms up. Coming into seal. You're going to be working more of your lower back. Shoulders away from our ears. Turn our head to the left. And through center, turn our head to the right. Back through center. Slowly lowering back down to our belly. Bringing our hands underneath our shoulders and pressing our chest back up to Cobra pose. One breath here. And tuck the toes on the back of your mat. Lift your hips up. Downward facing dog. First down dog of our practice today. So pedal out those feet. I like to really adjust my dog here by bending my knees, hovering them over the mat, and then just pulling your hips up. It allows you to really work in to the down dog position that feels good. For me, feels like I'm more in alignment with my down dog. Taking any last movements. On your next inhale, slowly step or walk up to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, hands come to shins or knees. Exhale, forward fold. From here, slightly bend your knees, grabbing opposite elbows, letting your head hang. Don't hold your head up, just let it hang for ragdoll. Maybe swaying side to side. Taking some deep breaths here. One more breath in ragdoll. And release your hands to the mat, straightening out those knees. On your next inhale, slowly rolling up all the way to the top. Mountain pose. I'm just going to turn and face you. Inhale, lifting our arms up high, grabbing our right wrist with our left hand, slowly pulling over to the left side, opening up our rib cage and our side body, maybe even feeling it in our hips. We might feel ourselves coming forward, so try to keep your back straight and pull. Inhale, up. Exhale, pull left. One more breath. And coming back to center, switching hands, right hand grabs left wrist and pulling over to the right side. Inhale, straightening and up. Exhale, pulling right. These little minor adjustments that really help me get into some of these stretches. One more breath. Exhale. Coming to center, we're going to start moving into our standing postures, but starting with another back opener. Interlace your fingers behind your back, pull your fists down, open up those shoulders, open up that chest in the front. Breathing. Inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe your hands come up over your shoulders. Maybe they stay here. We're just going to take one breath with our hands here. And slowly as we can, releasing our fingers. Sometimes I get that jerk. Placing them on the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back, plank pose. Inhale and plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Lower all the way down to your mat. Inhale, push the chest up, cobra pose. Exhale, tuck the toes, hips back, downward facing dog. Taking 2 breaths here. Need to make some adjustments or still pedal out your feet. Feel free to do so. This is your practice. No one's watching. That's the great thing about some YouTube yoga. It's in your space and in your time. All right, here we go. Planting that left foot into the mat. Inhale, lift that right foot up behind you. Exhale, step it in between your hands, runner's lunge. Inhale, lower that left knee down, untucking the toes. Exhale, torso comes up, low lunge. You can have your hands in the air, as you'll soon find. I really like my hands on my hips and making it a dynamic stretch. So moving in and out of my low lunge, using my breath. If you like traditional low lunge, bring those hands up and push those hips forward. Whatever you're feeling today. Taking one more breath. And coming back to neutral. Let's stretch out that hamstring and calf. So straightening that right knee. Bringing your right toes up, maybe making an adjustment. You might have seen I pulled my heel forward a little bit and slowly folding over that leg. Half splits. Maybe add a little movement to your foot. Bringing your toes up and down. Feeling those sensations as you make these small movements. Maybe even circling your foot. Working in that ankle, switching directions. If this is what you're doing, if not, again, like the little more static stretch, it's all good. We are stabilizing your half splits, bending that right knee, planting those right toes. Let's plant, a lot of planting here. The left hand to the inside of your right foot and open up to the right side using your right hand as a guide. So your right fingertips are up towards the sky. Your gaze is towards your fingertips. And you're still breathing. Taking those breaths. One more. From here, you're going to leave your left hand planted. You're going to bend that left knee and slowly reach for it with your right hand, getting a nice little quad stretch. If you have a block or a book and you need that extra support, putting it here so you can have a little more stability always works. Don't be afraid to use your blocks. I was using mine yesterday in my practice and the day before. No shame. One more breath in this pose. Releasing that foot. Let's plant the right hand to the outside of the right foot, tucking our left toes, coming up with a straight back left leg and stepping our right foot back to plank. Inhale in plank, exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, your choice. Exhale, hips back, down dog. Taking one breath here before we move on to the left side. Planting that right foot firmly in the mat. Inhale, lift that left leg up behind you. Exhale, step it in between your hands. Runner's lunge. Inhale, dropping that right knee onto the mat. Exhale, lift that chest up. Low lunge on the left side. You know what to do. If you're feeling a little more static on this side, do it. If you want to balance it out and keep moving like you did on the right, do what feels good. All about your practice. And we all remember that both sides of our body are not the same. We might do one thing on another and then make an adjustment on the opposite side. Remembering to push our hips forward and breathe. Getting that hip flexor stretch. Take one more breath. Coming back up to center and straightening that left knee, left toes come up and hinging at the hips over this leg. Any adjustments we need. And if you liked those minor foot movements on the right, you can do them on the left. Making those circles. Switch directions. Here we go. Bending that left knee, planting those left toes on the mat. Bring that right hand to the inside of the left foot and opening up to the left side. Left hand as a guide. Reaching it up. Try not to fall into our right shoulder. Really reaching up, using our core and our thighs to keep us lifted. Eyes on the prize, on your fingertips. Taking one more breath. Here we go. Bending that right knee, reaching for it with your left hand and pulling that foot towards your glutes for a quad stretch. Maybe really twisting here, opening up to the side, opening up that chest. One more breath. Releasing that foot, taking the left hand to the outside of the left foot, coming onto our right toes, lifting that right knee up, planting our hands, stepping back into plank. Inhale once in plank, exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here before we move into our next standing series. Like I said, today was going to be a little slower, a little easier. You know, last week I said that one was a relaxing workout and I was breaking a sweat, so really slowing it down this time. Making it for a relaxing morning movement series. And with that, let's keep flowing. Planting the left foot on the mat. Inhale, lift that right leg up behind you. Exhale, stepping it in between your hands, runner's lunge. Inhale, raising the torso and the arms up. Exhale, settling into crescent lunge, making any adjustments. You're on your left toes, left heel is up, shoulders over your hips, arms are up. If you're bunching your shoulders up, just lowering your shoulders away from your ears. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Last one. On your next inhale, twirling that left heel down. Exhale, opening up into warrior 2. Your back foot should be parallel with the back edge of the mat. You should be able to see your right big toe to the inside of your right knee. And your gaze is towards your fingertips. Two more breaths. Reaching through the crown of your head. One more breath. From here, taking our fingertips, our fingers, and weaving them together behind our back like we did at the beginning of practice, pulling that fist down, keeping our right knee bent, and bringing our shoulders to the inside of our right leg, humble warrior. We won't be here long. One more breath. Releasing our hands, coming up onto our left toes. Heel toe that right foot to the outer edge of your right mat, both hands to the inside of your right leg. Lizard lunge. You can either leave your left leg up, maybe move in and out of it, lower down, or take your left knee down, untuck your toes, and work in this lizard. If you have very flexible hips, probably come down onto the mat, but if you're like me, did a little bike ride this morning to the farmer's market. Hips might be a little tight, so we're just gonna work where we're at. I like to come onto the knife edge of my foot, move in and out of lizard. We'll take one more breath. From here, planting your right foot on the ground, coming up onto those left toes, finding a firm grip on the mat with your hands. We're gonna jump that left foot to the outside of the left hand. When you're ready, push off those toes, bring that foot to the outside. You might have an idea where we're going. If you do, great. If not, we're about to do it. So slowly lower those hips down to the mat, hands to heart center into prayer, and open up those knees with our elbows for Malasana. Letting the crown of our head reach towards the ceiling. Won't be here long. One more breath. And releasing our hands to the ground, slowly lifting our hips up, maybe moving them side to side. A lot of work. If you have tight hips, a lot of work if you have loose hips too. Just good work. Heel toeing your feet, shoulder distance apart. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, plank pose. Inhale and plank. Exhale, lower down to your mat, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift those hips back, downward facing dog. Just one breath here before we move to the left side. Planting that right foot, center your mat. Inhale, left leg up behind you. Exhale, step that foot in between your hands, runner's lunge. Inhale, sweeping the arms and chest up high. Exhale, crescent lunge. Maybe you're bending that right knee a little bit for a hip flexor stretch. Shoulders over our hips. and our shoulders away from our ears. Two more breaths. Last one. On your next inhale, twirling that right heel down. Exhale, opening up the arms to warrior two. Checking our posture, our foot alignment. See that big toe. Arms are straight, rising from the crown of our head. My mom likes to tell me, imagine someone has like a fish line and they're pulling you up. And for some reason, it really helps me straighten out my back. We'll take one more breath. Let's interlace our hands once again, pulling that fist down, opening up the chest, and then slowly lowering our chest to the inside of the left leg. Humble warrior. Just 2 breaths here. Using our thigh to keep us sturdy. Letting our head go maybe. And slowly releasing those fingertips. Bring them to the mat, coming up onto the right toes and heel toeing that left foot to the outside of the mat. Left hand comes to the inside, both hands on inside, lizard lunge. Maybe making some movements here, going in and out and lowering your knee. This is all for you. I'm just making a few suggestions on how to make this posture dynamic. If you, again, want to just keep it static and breathe through, I mean, you should be breathing the whole time, but just breathing in that static position, it's all yours. One more breath. Very good. From here, you're going to keep your hands where they are. We're just going to start to slow it down. Take that left leg, sweep it back behind you, opening up those knees. Child's pose, 3 breaths. Slowing down our breath. Maybe feeling how our body has a different feeling in some parts of our bodies from the start of our practice. Taking one more breath. Pulling it down now, pushing yourself up to a tabletop position. I'm going to face towards you so you can get a better idea of what it looks like. From here, you're going to bring your right knee to the center. Left knee weaves behind the right and plants on the ground. You're then going to open those feet up and sit back on your mat. I'm going to adjust a little bit. This is cow face pose. It's going to help open up those hips a little bit. If you're up here, that's totally fine. Wherever you are is great. This is a practice, not a perfect. We are doing what we can today. So since our right knee is on top, we bring our right arm underneath, left arm on top. Do a little twist. Give yourself an applause. Great job so far. This is going to help us open up our backs. So pulling our elbows up and forward, inhaling. If this is where you want to be, great. If you want an extra stretch, exhale, bending forward. Taking 3 breaths here. Still pulling those elbows forward, maybe even hooking them onto the front knee. Taking that one last inhale and exhale. Slowly coming up and twisting those arms, shaking out those shoulders, pushing ourselves up to a tabletop, unbinding our legs. Let's switch it up. Left knee comes center, right knee comes up and over that left calf to the outside of our left knee behind it, opening up those feet wide and sitting back on our glutes. You can see this side's a little bit different for me. It's a little tighter. I got a little more space. That's okay. We're going to work with it. So since the left leg is on top, left arm on bottom, right arm on top, twist. Great job. Pulling those elbows up. Inhale, exhale, folding forward if that's what you want. Taking 2 more breaths out of our 3. On your next inhale, slowly lifting up, untwisting those arms, giving a little shake, doing a little dance, pushing ourselves up under our knees, unbinding our legs. This time you're going to cross your ankles and just sit back into an easy seat. From here, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together for a little butterfly stretch. Ooh, let me get a couple cracks. Grabbing our toes or wherever, inhaling here. Exhale, hinging at the hips, keeping our back straight. If you are super flexy and get down on the floor, I am very jealous, but today this is where I'm at. And it feels good. Two more breaths. Coming back up, taking your right leg long. Let's take our left leg, lift it over, planting our left foot to the outside of our right knee. Taking that right arm, giving that knee a hug. Left hand comes behind us for a twist. Moving our gaze over our left shoulder. We don't want to be hunched either. Sitting up tall again. Someone's pulling a string. Ooh, little slip. And release, little slip of the hand. It was pulling a little too tight, that's okay. Bring the bottom of your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding over that knee. Grabbing whatever you can. Maybe it's your calf, ankle, toes, or even a sock, just to pull yourself forward. Get a nice little stretch. Sometimes when I'm here, I like to give my toes a little love too. Maybe massage the bottom of your foot. Last breath. Releasing that grip, coming back up. Let's switch sides. Left leg long, right knee bends and bring that right foot to the outside of the left knee. Giving that left knee a hug and taking that right hand behind you. Sitting up tall for a twist. One last breath. And coming back forward. Bring the bottom of your foot to the inside of the left thigh. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, folding forward. A little bit tighter on this side. I'm not moving in it as well, but that's, like I said, the difference between each side of your body. I'm still going to give myself a massage though. Taking one more breath. Releasing that grip. Let's slowly find our way onto our back. However you like. Just no flopping. Don't flop. Gently. Be gentle. All right, let's close up our practice with a few more exercises. Bending our left knee, planting our left foot on the ground, cross our right ankle over that left knee. It's like a figure 4 series that I really like. Probably see this often in some of my videos. Flexing those toes towards your right knee, you're going to push up, push your left foot into the mat and lift your hips up, and then pushing that right knee down, working that right hip for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently lower down. Bring that left knee towards you, weaving your hands behind that thigh for supine pigeon. Keeping that foot flexed, opening up that right knee to your right elbow. With your right elbow. And releasing your grip, but keeping your legs as they are. Arms out to a T. Just rotate your hips to the left so your left knee comes onto the ground and your right foot plants on the ground. You're going to get another hip stretch here, piriformis stretch. I like to grab my ankle with my hand just to keep that foot grounded, and then look towards your right fingertips. Supine stretch. Coming back up, taking the left foot to the ground and just windshield wiper those legs left to right. Let's do the other side. Keeping that right foot planted, take that left ankle on top of the right knee, planting the right foot into the mat. Gently lift those hips up and open up that left hip by pressing the left heel down. Remember to keep those left toes flexing towards your left knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower those hips down. Bring that right thigh towards you. Taking that little weave and pulling that thigh, opening up that left hip with the left elbow, foot still flexed. From here, releasing your grip, hands to a T, and just twisting your lower half. Right knee comes down to the ground, left foot planted. Maybe grabbing that ankle with your right hand and looking towards your left. Coming back to center. Again, both feet planted on the mat, little windshield wiper. And reaching for those toes with your peace fingers for dead bug or happy baby, rolling out your lower back. Releasing your grip, legs coming long, arms by your side. Moving any ponytail, getting comfortable with your shoulder blades. And settling into your Shavasana, closing your eyes. Maybe sighing out a breath. And focusing on your inhales and your exhales. Maybe even in your head chanting Sat as you inhale and Nam as you exhale to keep concentration on something. You relax. wherever you are. You want to keep meditating in Shavasana, you can just pause me and move on with your practice. Otherwise, wiggle your fingers and toes. Waking that body back up. Our toes can be like our fingers, though. Bring your arms above our head for a full body stretch. Rolling onto either side with our eyes closed for just a few more moments of peace. When you're ready, slowly pushing yourself up to an easy seat. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you are feeling relaxed and ready for your day or ready for bed. Please let me know if you have any suggestions of things you'd like to work on, or if you like this practice. Again, thank you for joining me. Namaste.